Afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is Mike Hemmert with eMoney. I'm on our enterprise sales team, joined by Celeste Revelli with our financial planning area. Just some housekeeping items before we get started. First thing, we are going to record this, so you'll get a copy of the recording for registering for the call. The Q&A part, we are going to get the Q&As through the chat feature. So if you could, just type your questions in the chat feature as we go throughout the presentation as they come up, and we're going to try to get to them at the end of the call. We do have about an hour blocked. Typically, we end up doing these about 35 to 40 minutes, and then we leave the rest for Q&A. So again, recording the call, and then if you could, just please submit your questions in the chat function. Again, thank you guys for joining. If you're curious what Celeste and I look like, photos, just a quick background. Combined with Celeste and I, we have combined 18 experience at eMoney. We've seen the company grow from 100 employees to now we're upwards of 900 employees, 3 different offices around the country, and then now we are up to 70,000 users. That's up from 25,000 users in 2015 on our platform. Let me just turn it over to Celeste so she can give a quick introduction on her background with eMoney.
Thanks, Mike. My name is Celeste Revelli, and I work in the financial planning group here at eMoney. We're a team of 19 advanced financial planners, including 10 CFPs. And our group provides financial planning guidance within eMoney for our clients, as well as for our various internal teams here, so that we can continue to support your planning-led practices. We offer services such as Accelerate, which provides customized consulting for your firm to help you maximize your tech stack and your use of eMoney. And we also offer continuing education courses to support your planning development. And as Mike said, we've worked with many of our clients over the years, maybe even some of you attending this webinar today, and helping them maximize their use of eMoney's platform. And we're really excited to be here to share some best practices around technology and client engagement.
Perfect. Thanks, Celeste. So before we get into the 9 ways, I'm just going to tee it up here with a couple slides, just setting the table for what we want to talk about, the 9 ways to engage with intent. So current situation, this is from the Kierbielen study of return of investment of financial planning. What we've been told and what Kierbielen has been told, this is also from our enterprise level as well. We go around and talk to the enterprise companies and prospects, and as well as our existing customers. The average advisor has 20% of the households with a financial plan. So we know that's definitely an opportunity. Take that a step further. We've actually had one of our enterprise partners that did net promoter scores for their client base. And what they found was that the clients who actually had a financial plan, their net promoter score was 3 times higher than those without a plan. So now firms are trying to move towards creating a financial plan for households. One of the ways to do that, the solution is we got to digitize it. We have to make sure it's scalable. Other pieces, the engagement part. I think gone are the days of the 70-page financial plan. We see more and more firms moving towards interactive planning, collaboration, and again, hopefully using this will help you grow as well. Benefits of digital. So this is some data from the first ones from Cerulli. When they did their survey on investor advice, and what they felt was advisors that were using a digital platform to be able to see all of their clients' needs and not just the assets they manage for, seeing everything, this really helped improve outcomes. Second thing, from a client experience, most of the advisors and firms we talk to, when they're thinking about bringing in technology, they want to make sure if they're going to spend money that their first priority is what's the client experience. And again, you can think of it from your perspective. You're an advisor, and let's just suppose you bought a new CRM. I would challenge you and ask you how many clients you called up and said, hey, I just bought this new CRM. I can't wait to show it to you. It's going to keep track of everything that we've talked about. Also give me some tasks for you where I can then tell you to do things about in the last meeting. It just doesn't happen. If you're investing in technology that's client facing, those are the things you're going to talk about with your client. Those are the ones right now. Those are the tools that we hear advisors are using, that they're spending more time deciding which type of tools they should use, especially those ones that are client facing. And then we know from our heart of advice, so this is a study that eMoney did with some of our end clients. And we couched the three areas of what clients are looking for as the head, the heart, and the hand. So when we talked to end clients, the first thing that they wanted was the head. So they wanted an advisor with experience, being able to provide their expertise. They also wanted the heart. They wanted that advisor to have empathy. And then the last piece is the hand. That's the technology. They also wanted to leverage technology with the advice they were getting from the advisor. Again, the key to all this with any technology is implementing it. It's probably the thing most. And again, it sounds simple, but the reality is we have to make sure that you're using your tool. The other thing is don't overbuy technology thinking it's going to improve your ROI. Make sure it's something you can use with all of your clients. It's going to be something that's going to leverage, you're going to be able to leverage to deliver a special experience for your clients. You also want to make sure anything you're using is a meaningful touch. So if you remember back to the days when advisors used to use email to, every Friday, I know my advisor used to do it, every Friday you used to get a canned email from them with some kind of topic, and they used a third-party piece as well, which is fine. I think that there's some usefulness of using those types of tools, but you want to make sure those touches are meaningful because it's going to deliver better habits and also have a consistent experience. So again, as we set the table, technology, as you're thinking about technology, the stuff that's client-facing, pay special attention to that. So let's just get into some of the 9 ways to engage with intent. First one, choose the experience stack. Notice we didn't say technology stack, it's an experience stack. The first thing we always tell our firms and advisors is to be mindful of anything you put in front of your client. We've always told our clients, anything that you show a client should not need to be explained. The other thing some firms use or some advisors have done is they've used industry jargon. Don't use industry jargon or try not to use industry jargon when it's something that's going to be client facing. Second thing is totally utilizing it. Create a franchise experience with custom results, or I'm sorry, with custom advice. So anything you're putting through your client, the client's going through the same experience. You don't want clients to end up talking to each other, maybe getting a different experience with it. When you utilize technology, make sure each client is going through the same experience, and we equate that to the franchise experience. And the last one is the omni-channel experience, where you're servicing your clients anywhere and everywhere. So situation, I live in California, my advisor is in Pennsylvania. And you can imagine there's very few opportunities where I'm going to go actually to his office to have a meeting. But he needs to make sure that he's able to do those meetings with me in a remote situation, whether that be done on video, on WebEx, what we're using here. You want to make sure that you are able to service your clients in any way that they want to. And if you know the younger clients out there, they do want to be able to service with leveraging technology. Again, this will help it be consistent and repeatable process, and it'll help you streamline it with everything. But again, 3 things. 1, be mindful. Don't put anything in front of a client that you need to explain. Avoid industry jargon. Second thing, create a franchise experience with custom advice, and then also be able to offer that experience in every channel or omni-channel everywhere. Second one, identify and connect with targets. So no secret here, identify with the target market. I think this needs to be more specific. Good, bad, or indifferent. If you talk to an advisor, I bet you if we had asked the advisors on this call right now, and we asked them what's their niche market, one of the areas we would hear most often is probably business owners. And I think that serves a lot of advisors very well, but now we're starting to see it be more and more specific. We have an advisor with eMoney that he focuses on bass fishermen. So being really specific in terms of what your target market is. Second example, we have a firm in Maryland. They are close to the DC area. They just on clients that are government workers. So think of all the things you need to know specific to a particular government worker as it relates to their pension or their retirement account. They've become specific on focusing on very narrow niche markets. Second thing, build an online presence. So we know that this can be challenging with compliance and social media, but you want to make sure that you have some kind of presence online that's not just your website, whether that be a blog, whether you can be on Twitter. Some advisors do a good job leveraging LinkedIn. Make sure you're building a proper online presence, because you know when a client or a prospect sets an appointment with you, they're going to know more about you, more than they had 10 years ago. For around the 10 years ago, clients that didn't know as much or didn't have the ability to search that, but now people are searching for it. I hired someone to install a fence for me after a storm came through. First place I went to, online, searching the reviews. So make sure you have an online presence, and make sure that online presence is a positive one. And the last one is capturing, be able to, this is capture leads and details, but have a way for a prospect to engage you digitally before they meet with you. So again, an example for myself, I moved from Pennsylvania to California 6 years ago. I needed to find a new attorney. When I chose my attorney at the time, I still haven't met with them. I've talked to them on the phone full of times, but the reason I ended up choosing them is that they had a vault that I could go and upload all of my documents into the vault and get it to them relatively quickly to be able to do that. So make sure you have a way to engage with clients in some kind of digital format, or digital, prospects in a digital way. The third one, creating a friendly onboarding. So this is pretty important. For those of you who aren't aware, eMoney, as I mentioned, we're 900 employees. The average age of our employees is 28 years old. So we certainly have a lot of developers, we have service people, salespeople, marketing, but the average age of our employees is 28 years old. And one of the things we had done a couple of years ago, we sent one of our developers through a financial planning process. So the engagement went something like this. eMoney employee called an advisor that we knew that was an eMoney user, set the appointment. Advisor set the appointment, say it was a week or two later. The advisor got off the phone, immediately overnighted a bunch of paperwork. The eMoney employee had him fill it out with his wife and bring it into the meeting. Again, 28-year-old employee at eMoney goes, fills it out, comes to the meeting, and then he watches someone in the advisor's office keystroke it into the system. So he's got to think there's got to be a better way to make it onboarding, make it more client friendly. So make sure you're using something that can help engage the client so that the first time that you meet with them, you have some information to be able to start providing some value on day one. This includes everything from not just assets, but goals, what keeps them up at night. Those are things that are important to make sure you're with intent. It also is going to show a higher level of professionalism when you present with technology versus just sending out paper to clients and filling it out. Fourth one, in engaging with intent, building a client site. So this is something, as you know, is something near and dear to eMoney's heart. We built a client portal when we first launched 20 years ago. Again, giving a full view of the client's situation, that's important. Just not only giving financial advice for clients to be able to know where everything is, but also some fiduciary advice, right? Making sure you're acting as a fiduciary, you need to know where everything is. One of the things that keeps us up at night on the client site is we want to make sure that we are continuing to get the client to continue to come back to the site. So if you've noticed, if those of you that are eMoney users, we've added goals and budgeting information to get the client to make it more personalized, whether it be putting pictures on there. One of the things with budgeting, the spending tab, we launched that 5 years ago, and we went to our advisors and asked the advisors for feedback on it. And again, this was 5 years ago. Some advisors weren't necessarily didn't think it was that important to understand the spending. But if you actually ask the end clients there, it's one of the most used tools within our client portal is the spending tab. As I mentioned, aggregation. This is something, as you know, can be a bad word, aggregation. If your clients are using aggregation, you want to make sure that you know what that institution is doing with their data. One thing at eMoney, we use the data. We do not sell it. We use it just for financial planning purposes. We're only pulling the account value and holdings on a nightly basis. So if you're talking to client portal to start educating clients on aggregation, those of you that use aggregation know it can be a headache with the connections breaking. So if you could be proactive about it, particularly when you're talking about the client site, it's going to be important, and it's going to take it a long way if you set the expectation with the client that, one, who are you using for aggregation, what are they doing with the data, and secondly, making sure that you are the one presenting the client portal, because they'll go get it somewhere else if they're not getting it from you. We had one of our users tell us, you're either aggregating or you're getting aggregated. Let's go to the fifth one. I'm going to turn it over to Celeste here to run through the next couple.
Thanks, Mike. So the fifth way to engage with intent is really around the financial planning process and the ability for your clients to be involved throughout. Now, as Mike mentioned in the beginning, firms really have an opportunity to do a lot more planning. Only 20% of households have a financial plan. So, as you're engaging with new or existing clients in the financial planning process, you should really start by defining with yourself and with your organization how you want your clients to have their financial planning process really be an experience and what that financial plan really is. We all know that creating a financial plan is a process from defining the client engagement to data gathering to developing recommendations with your clients and then working with your clients to implement those plans into actions. But even more than that, creating a financial plan is a true relationship and experience where you guide your clients into making better decisions for their futures, helping them understand every step of the way, whether your clients have one financial goal or 8 concurrent ones, or whether they have basic budgeting needs or advanced estate planning needs. When it comes to technology, it's really important to have technology that scales with your clients' evolving needs so that way you can provide a full spectrum of services. So, for example, advisors might target younger professionals and choose technology that meets planning needs such as paying off student loans or saving to buy a house. But does that technology also address areas such as tax planning or advanced retirement planning as your clients become more complex over time and have more complex needs? And as you move through that planning process with your clients, it's obviously important to be transparent every step of the way. And this will be much easier through using technology and offering that digitized experience that Mike was talking about. You can invite your clients into the planning process through a personalized client portal to gather more information about them. And you can also utilize interactive planning tools that really show clients the impacts, the trade offs, and the benefits of their decisions. Now, in terms of output, however you define a financial plan, it's no longer just a bound printed volume of pages with numbers and rows and columns that can really make your client's head spin. Through a digital client experience, you can really provide reliable, objective, and reasonable outputs as defined by the CFP Board's new standard on technology for financial planning software, for example. This new standard recognizes the growing and really now cornerstone use of technology in the financial planning experience, and it also requires practitioners to use their technology objectively, competently, and confidently in order to ensure that they continue to service their clients' best interests. Now, the next area of engagement is number 6, client communications. In the December 2019 survey named How Can Advisors Better Communicate with Clients? 75% of clients with over $500,000 in AUM reported that they think it's important for their financial advisors to anticipate questions that they might have and also reach out proactively. So, within this whole idea of intentional engagement, the key focus here is intentional communications. So when you are reaching out to answer questions or also follow up with your clients, consider the learning styles and communication styles of your clients. Do they better receive information delivered using tools that provide visuals, for example? Or is it enough to have a quick phone call to provide peace of mind and be available for those one off questions? So personalize those communications and those channels to really align with your client's preferences. As Mike mentioned earlier, his financial advisor is located across the country. So these face to face conversations are no longer the only way that advisors and clients communicate. And with the increased use of technology and mobile and the internet, these ways to keep in touch have really grown exponentially. So if you're an advisor, for example, who believes that 100 touches per year is the key optimal client engagement, then you might be mentally multiplying your clients by 100 and trying to figure out how to even find time in your already packed schedule to reach out. But don't get overwhelmed. There are digital solutions for client touches and marketing. So use technology that allows you to send personalized communications and also allows you to schedule and launch targeted content campaigns to generate and nurture those leads through digital and social channels within just a few clicks. So now on to compliance, which is number 7. You might be thinking to yourself, compliance, how am I going to grab my client's attention with compliance? So we've talked about several ways of digitizing the experience and making that client experience better through the quote unquote more exciting parts of the process. But you can also leverage the digital experience to streamline your compliance efforts through your firm and also throughout document sharing and displaying your fiduciary duties with your clients. So build an efficient, transparent, and digital source for client deliverables so that your compliance team at your firm can review and approve documents and presentations through a single firm dashboard. Some technology can even offer features such as tracking timestamped records of things like fact changes and presentation creation, in addition to offering a compliance approval hub. So having this type of firm transparency and documentation of the financial planning process and client deliverables will also allow you to keep up with the evolving regulatory environment, such as the new SEC rules or Reg BI and the new CFP Board Code of Standards and Ethics, along with future ones that will most likely pop up as our industry changes. So the point here is digitize your compliance process because number one, it frees up your precious time to be able to spend with your clients since you and your firm gain efficiency. And that's obviously the most obvious benefit there. But number two, being able to share this transparent process with your clients and assure them that these key conversations are documented and reviewed responsibly. And this can really help you stand out and strengthen the trust that your clients already have in you and your firm. And so while we're on the topic of issues that might seem quote unquote back office, but really play a big role in establishing trust between advisors and clients, security should also be top of mind throughout every client engagement. And that's why it's number 8 on our list. Promote the security of your process and your technology. We all know that you are going to be asked about it. And if you haven't already been asked already, be ready to talk about data security. We suggest that you should even be proactive and address it right away. So don't wait to be asked. We suggest maybe even including it in the handling of your compliance process and security and including it in your marketing and disclosures. So emotionally discussing security shows your clients that you care about protecting their most sensitive data. And practically, attention to data security also protects the overall stability of your client's financial well-being, but it also protects your firm and helps ensure business continuity as an important piece of business risk management. So showing your clients how to protect their data within their client portal, within secure document storage, and other technology that you use with them can really make a big difference. Explain how data is used in the planning process. And as Mike mentioned before, when it comes to utilizing data aggregation, find a provider that does not share or sell your client's information for other purposes. So talk about the policies in your office and make sure that your clients understand what you have in place to protect their most sensitive personal information that they share with you. But also make sure to understand your technology's provider's risk management and data security policies. So understanding what your technology firms that you choose to bring into your client relationships really have in place to protect data, such as data encryption, or that they audit, inspect, and upgrade their systems regularly to prevent cyber attacks. So ensure that the technology that you use in your client relationships is safe and secure. And as part of proactively addressing security with your clients, the more that you know, the more obviously that you can have in your toolbox to share with them. And that really brings us into this last point here. Number 9, creating a consistent client experience. And this is really the last step in leveraging all of these different digital capabilities that we mentioned to provide one complete, comprehensive, consistent experience for your clients. Integrate all of your wealth management tools so that you can access them through one portal and still leveraging their unique features and their unique purposes. So for example, integrate your investment management tools or your business development tools into one platform And this can really increase your efficiency and free up more time to spend with your clients. So integrating can also help automate some of your process as well. For instance, integrating your planning tool with your CRM to allow automated recurring engagements and touchpoint opportunities. Automation can also be leveraged in data aggregation or data gathering, and also in processes such as compliance. And so, really, this idea of integrations and automation is going to be key in really providing that consistent client experience. And Mike will bring us to our last key area here in offering that experience.
Hey, for adoption, so this is something that we see pretty regularly as being an issue. And again, for those who aren't aware, we have a client portal. You may be using other client portals, and as a client portal, not to simplify it, but I think there's two different types of approaches that a firm or an advisor may take with the client portal. And I usually couch them as like a defensive way of presenting a client portal. The other firms that we see having more success with encouraging adoption is they make it part of their process. So if I were to bet, I would go to someone's who's on the call here today. I go to your website, and I suspect there might be something similar to kind of who you are, why you do it, and who you are, what you do, and why you do it, right? So those are the three things that a lot of advisors want to communicate to prospects. The firms we see have most success, they add a fourth step in there. So you're meeting with the client for the first time, who you are, what you do, why you do it, and the last one is how you do it. And you're introducing a platform, whether that be eMoney or another platform that you do it. You're introducing it in the first meeting, and here's how we do it at our firm. Here's how our wealth management tool. So then you're introducing the technology that you're using, the digital experience you're using with the first meeting. And if you're using eMoney in the planning, chances are you're going to be using the decision center in the meeting. So you're only reinforcing the technology that they're using and how you use it in every meeting as you're going through the decisions like that. This will help you create higher adoption. So with that, for those of you who are interested, if you don't know about eMoney and you want to sign up for a demo, you'd be able to do that by clicking on the chat box, or sorry, go to our website and clicking on the chat box to get set up for a demo. You don't need to talk to anyone. It'll set it up automatically with one of our inside sales reps.